Hey everybody, I'm Mike.
And I'm Bob.
And this is the Board Game Rundown. Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday. It is our January 22nd edition. You are probably noticing that our fearless leader, Tim, unfortunately is not with us. We do expect him to show up later, although I don't think this is going to be a very late episode. So if he's expecting to jump in at like 10:30, we may not go that. So also for those that may be wondering, oh yeah, still crying, absolutely. Evening Knicks, definitely swimming in Tim's salty tears this morning as an Ohio native. So those are probably wondering what's Tim doing? What's up, Wayne? He is actually at a Harlem Globetrotters game with his family. He did mention that last week. And I just figured after watching Notre Dame get their ass kicked, he figured he'd go watch a game where his team was guaranteed to win.
Wow.
That was the one I was waiting on, Bob.
Yep.
Good morning, Trevor, on the other side of the world.
His team is rigged to win. It's almost like he's watching the Chiefs play.
Yeah. That's true. So he might be popping in before we finish out tonight. So we'll see what happens. I don't know when that game actually started. It was probably a 7:00 game, if I had to guess.
I can't imagine that going too late. Because it's for families and stuff, and you don't want your kids up 10:00 at night.
Yeah, he's probably got his whole FanDuel balance on the Generals. Smart thinking. Just like some of the money I put on Notre Dame on Monday. Yeah,
I almost had that 8.5 until the last. I was like, oh, there goes Mike's bet.
I know. Oh, I was feeling so good after they finally were stopping them on that last drive, and they're like, "Oh, let's just throw a 50-yard bomb on 3rd and 10. Do nothing about it." It was wide open.
You got to play all 4 quarters, man. They did. They played really well in the first quarter. They played, really well in the fourth quarter. But quarters 2 and 3, they just forgot to show up.
Yeah, they definitely did not show up. And hindsight's always 20/20, but I find it interesting that they waited until the very end of the game to run like a hurry up offense. Maybe that would have helped, but at the same time, I think at that point, Ohio State was just playing prevent defense. They were just standing 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. So I think that is why they were able to move the ball so easily, not because they changed schemes.
Well, and I'm surprised that, because I watched quite a bit of their football throughout the season, and that Jeremiah Love guy, he was one of their better players, and they barely gave him the ball at all. And it's
he got hurt in that Penn State game, but I double checked because I made a bet on him scoring a touchdown in this game because he scored a touchdown in every single game this season besides that Penn State game where he got hurt. I don't know, he had 15, 16 touchdowns on the season, but he got hurt in that game and they were wondering if he was going to play. So I double checked. He was 95% chance to not 95% chance. He said to the media that he felt like he was 95%, like he was ready to go. And apparently that was smoke and mirrors because he barely sniffed the field. So goodbye the other bet that I made. I made 2, lost them both. That's what happens when you bet on the Irish. Bob, what are you drinking?
I got the good old standby Maker's Mark. So
yeah, nothing wrong with that. Love that stuff. I guess I have something as an ode to our recent weather here. With our sub-zero temperatures, I am busting out Jim Beam Winter Reserve.
Okay.
This has notes of vanilla and cinnamon. I'm not really picking up the cinnamon. I am picking up the vanilla though, and I just gotta say, for a budget bottle, I picked this up half off, so it's $12. way overshooting what I paid for it. It's really tasty. I'm
You can
pretty
always add a
impressed.
little fireball or something to it, get that cinnamon.
Yeah, that's true. If I really want to bring out the cinnamon, that's true.
That's right.
We'll bring out the
notes of cinnamon there.
Bring the dogs out. Yeah, it's they got a foot of snow in Florida and Alabama and Louisiana all along the southeastern coast.
Our friend Greg sent us a picture. He's in North Carolina, and they got a dusting, and there's like cars flipped over, and they're like freaking out over there.
Yeah, the one winter that I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina, they got 3 inches of snow, and people were freaking out, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all-wheel drive 4x4 that doesn't help you stop.
Spasm, get out of there. This cat, man. It's catting up right
help
now.
You stop.
She's spazzing. So, Iridia, real quick, showed up on Saturday. This game is amazing. If you buy this game, don't punch everything. They did say in an email to the backers not to do it. When you look at the kickstart guide or the quick start guide that's on top, she's in there wrecking havoc. Stop. It says, punch things as needed because otherwise there's not room for it. But there are so many cool things about this game. Like, so your characters that you build, you come with bodies for each of the classes, and then there's different heads for all the different races. So you can pick the body that you want, and then you put the appropriate race head on there. Cat, hang on a minute. I don't want to scratch up the inside of this box. Get out of there. My goodness. I know if you fit, you sit. But she is on one right now. Spazzing out. But I started playing through the introduction scenario. I made my little character here. He's a little difficult to see. There you go. He's holding a lute on his shoulder because he's a bard. And then all the monsters. So it's just the practice dummy. There you go. You kind of see him. He's pre-painted. Super cool. The combat's got some really neat things with targeting and weapons. You roll your D20, you add your appropriate skill modifier, and then there's a white damage and a gray damage. And if you're within one number range, you just do the 1 damage. But if you have a bigger number, you do both of them as if you're hitting a swipe or you're hitting a slash, depending on what kind of weapon you got. Super in depth, but the quick start guide really does a pretty good job of walking you through everything and how it all works and everything flows together. Man, I'm really impressed so far. It's still sitting on my table. I've got my Game Toppers cover protecting it from the cat right now because I was playing it, but I didn't want to put it all away because I want to keep, yes, you. And so I put the Game Topper over the top of it to protect it.
Have you played it already?
I played the quick start scenario. I'm 80% kind of through it, just kind of
okay,
checking it out, reading through everything, and I just kind of left it set up back there. So, but it has the drop in, drop out feature. So as people want to drop in and play with you or drop out of the campaign, you could add them and leave them. So it's really neat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's interesting. Pablo, we did do an episode on that one time. That was a while ago. That was probably a year and a half ago that we did one of those. But yeah, also, unfortunately, sorry to hear about the wildfire.
Yeah, man.
It's kind of wild, man. If you're on the southeast, you're getting pummeled by snow, and if you're on the southwest, you're hopefully safe from the flames.
Yeah. Glad it got put out, man. Hope you stayed safe and everything.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, global warming. Also, as Nix was saying, he said it was 1 on the way to work. It was -2 on the way to work for me here.
Same.
And it was negative here yesterday as well. So we have 2 days of sub-zero temperatures. We got some more snow last night or the night before, actually. So we've gotten a good amount of accumulation the last few days here.
Yeah, it's crazy. It gets so cold and they salt the road. It doesn't matter because the salt water freezes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So to those of you that are here for our topic, we'll briefly address that. We'll give you a little bit of channel news. and then we'll jump right into it. So, as you know, we're going to get into our 2024 favorite new to us games. So, a little bit of a clarification there. We're going to be doing numbers 15 through 6 tonight. We already filmed our top 5 new to us games from 2024. We did that as a studio episode, though, so we saved the good stuff. But that's going to be edited within the next day or two, and we should have that released as early as next week. So if you want to see our top 5 new to us games from 2024, stay tuned next week, and that'll be coming out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, as of last year, we started just saying, you know what? Why don't we cover even more new to us games? And we started covering them on the live show. So that's what we're doing tonight, and we'll get into that shortly. Yeah, the top 10 after 5.
Yep.
Top 50 after 50. It's the top 10 after 5. That would have been a catchy. That would have confused so many people. Like, what?
Wait, what? They were tuned in just to figure out what the heck we're talking about, Mike.
Yeah. That's why it just says a generic top 10 on the thumbnail. I'm like, I'm not confusing people here. This is just semantics. Deal with it. The top 10 after 5 after dark. I love it, Trevor. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Other channel news. There's a small convention coming up the end of the month called PoppyCon. And it is confirmed that Board Game Rundown will have its own booth there. So
correct.
We'll have a bunch of games with us. So you can sit down, play, make fun of us, meet us, greet us, all that fun stuff.
Yep. Downtown South Bend, Indiana, in our largest convention center here, the Century Center, which is a pretty nice little venue right on the river. This is the 3rd annual PoppyCon. It's always been hosted in South Bend. And it's a smaller convention. I'd probably say 300 or 400 people, maybe 5, somewhere in there. Smaller convention. But it's a good time, and it's a good opportunity to promote the channel, play a bunch of games. So if you're going to be in the area, if you're interested in playing some games with us, they do have the link. It's on the tabletop events page as well, where you get like your Gen Con badges and whatnot. So PoppyCon in South Bend, that is a 2-day event.
This year it'll be 2 days, like half day Friday, and then all day Saturday.
Yeah, they recently changed that. So it used to just be a 1-day Saturday only event. Now it's Friday the 31st and February the 1st. That's a Friday and a Saturday. Friday goes from 4 to 11:45, I believe, is their stopping time.
Something like
that. And Saturday is like 10 till 11:45. So we're going to be there for 2 days straight, just gaming it up. Bob's also got another local thing this weekend he does called the Meeple Gaming Society. That's actually going to be in the gaming store that hosts our show. That's Fantasy Games north of downtown South Bend.
Just south of Niles, Michigan. And maybe if you're there and you ask, I might get you behind the scenes look at where we do the filming, because it's right behind door number 1 or 2. I don't know. Pick one.
Door number 1, I suppose.
Probably door number 1. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you didn't know, our show is formed in a family local gaming store. The owner said, I want to start out some gaming YouTube channels, and he tasked Tim with assembling the Avengers to host that show. So we're the results of those recruiting attempts. And we still shoot our show there. We just do our live show from home. So it's kind of cool when we can do some gaming there. We do most of our gaming there in the studio, so we don't get bothered. It's kind of fun to actually sit in the gaming room and play games. A couple other channel things I'll bring up. We have a full guest schedule now. So our Whiskey Wednesday is set for the next 5 weeks now. So next week it's Sam Barmettler from Around the Stump Games. He's going to be talking to us about Button Kingdoms.
Nice.
Really like that deck builder, Bob. I still am just gushing about that market mechanic. I just really like the double think of you're trying to
selling this. Are you buying this? Yeah.
This is a deck builder where it's not just, all right, you're going to buy that card on your turn, and all right, you figure out what card you're going to buy on your turn. Everybody has these chits, and they're simultaneously choosing secretly one card they're going to destroy, one card they're going to sell, and one card they're going to buy. But you have to buy from the lowest bidder. So you got to bid lower than other people. And then when they buy the card, they buy it from the lowest bidder. So you're getting money during the market phase. So you're trying to figure out what card people want. And that's just interesting. I love that player interaction and that kind of reverse psychology of that market phase. So that's Button Kingdoms. We're going to have the designer on next week. February 5th is Seppi Yoon from Fight in a Box Games. He's got another crazy game coming out. The title is so crazy, I don't even remember what it's called. I'm sorry. Sorry, Seppi. I can pull up that Facebook message conversation and find it, but it's Seppi, so just expect it to be crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be fighting about something.
Yeah, we'll be doing some kind of a debate style top 5, which is always a blast. Our friend that you'll see in the chat here, Wayne Kruger, he is part of the Beans and Dice podcast. And they're going to be on the show February 12th. They're a Florida-based channel. One cool thing that they do that we're going to do that week, they do a call-in show. So they put a phone number at the bottom of the screen. You call in. You literally get to talk on their show. We're going to do that day. I think we're just going to have Carlos run the call-in like he normally does. We'll post the number at the bottom of the screen. You can call in and you can be on the show on February 12th. 2 more. February 19th is the full 42. If you watch this show, you know the full 42. Half of you already watch it. And then February 26th will be our buddy Jim Cole. He's going to be talking about a new expansion for Zombie Survival Infection. So that'll be a good time. So we are set all the way through February. So that means if you were expecting us to finish our top 100 or 50 after 50,
you gotta wait.
You gotta wait till March.
Yep. So a couple of side notes on some of that information that Mike just gave out. Jim Cole's expansion is going to be released on Kickstarter the day before he comes on the show. So it'll be the 25th will be the launch of that Kickstarter. And then the full 42, Mike, the Googs, regular on the show, and then friend of the show, Chris Strain. We've been on their show quite a few times. We're going to be on their show again coming up for, what was it, their 100th, 200th episode?
Their
200th episode. We're gonna guest star on there with them, so that'll be fun, I am sure. Also, Mike was noting that we are about to put out, what is it, our 1,000th video coming up?
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up so I can make it official here. I should have had that one ready. We are less than 8 videos away.
Nice.
From having 1,000 uploads to our channel.
That's crazy.
It's more than I thought. It's 18 videos away.
Oh, well, never mind. Ignore what I just said.
We're still a little ways away.
Still a few weeks. By the end of February or so, we'll be hitting that, I'm sure.
Yeah, within a few weeks. We got a lot of stuff in the pipeline coming out right now that'll hit the next few weeks here. So within a couple weeks, we will have officially hit 1,000 uploaded videos. So no small feat.
Videos coming out this week. I did the SEOing for, Tim and I's play of Song for War. That was a really great World War II game. Had a lot of fun with that. Big swings, lots of fun units, a very interesting map, and lots of stuff you can do. There'll be a 3.5-hour playthrough. You can watch Tim and I talk shit to each other for a while and find the outcome of that battle. There's also a tutorial that I did for them to kind of give you a quick little rundown of how that game works. But that Kickstarter hopefully will be launching in the next month or two. And yeah, man, I love World War II games, and this was like a really like fresh take, some fresh mechanisms in this game that aren't like a lot of the other ones that are out there. So
nice. Yeah, that was a long game. So it honestly just made it more efficient to have the two of you play it.
yeah,
Plus the simple fact that it works well as a two-player game. You guys loved it. So
yeah,
that's a good testament there. And I just happened to be at Grand Con that weekend.
yeah. Poor you.
And that was a paid preview, so the guys weren't rescheduling it. So
Yeah, well, because they came to town with like the one prototype they've got, and
Right.
then we did a learning game with the the designer and his son, and yeah, and then Tim and I did an actual playthrough with just the two of us, and then I did the rules video, and yeah.
Yep. Good morning, Steph, on the other side of the world. And thank you, Dave. Like I said, no small feat. We actually got the notification on YouTube Studio earlier this week that the channel has been up officially for 5 years now. So,
Wow.
if you figure 5 years and almost 1,000 videos, that is the math I came up with, a video every 1.8 days. So we're cranking out content at a rate of faster than every 2 days for 5 years now.
And if you think about it, one of those years was COVID, so that's like 3 or 4 years in 1 year. So
It really didn't take off until 2021. And then, I didn't join the show until early 22. Man, it's
yeah, that really took that downturn,
yeah. So we all owe all of that to you guys. If you guys didn't watch, then it wouldn't be worth putting the content out. So we definitely appreciate all of you guys. You're awesome.
Yeah, thank you for all that.
So we got favorite games from 2024.
Whoop, whoop.
So we, just to clarify, we could, but we don't do only games. Yes, and here I am slowing everybody down by getting us all drunk on Wednesday. Hey, we've done over 100 of these now, so that's getting us closer. 2 years of Whiskey Wednesdays, that's still crazy to me. What the heck was I saying? Oh yeah, we don't do just 2024 releases. We are not the Dice Tower. We don't get to play every single game that comes out. And there's like 4,000 games a year that come out. It's impossible to play them all. So we think it's just equally as interesting to talk about the games we played for the first time in the previous year, regardless when they came out. Now, yes, my list is a lot of 2024 games. That's just kind of the way it works. But there's a few classics I got mixed in here that I think people will like.
50-50 on mine, exactly.
Let me see. Old. Same. 5 and 5.
Nice.
Awesome.
We'll probably have the same 5. No, just kidding.
Nope. One of these, well, 2 of these I know are already in your top 5. So
that's fair.
All right. So before we jump into this, a couple other fun numbers. Bob, do you have it available? How many new to you games did you play last year?
Oh Lord, you could have asked me to have this information ready to go like, I don't know, half an hour ago.
If you get into BG stats,
I am into BG stats.
I'll give you a chance to look it up.
Okay, I gotta figure it out.
This is great. I'm gonna read this in the voice that it deserves. Back in my day, Mike was doing Whiskey Wednesday in his basement by himself, in portrait mode, no less, and not in his spanking new studio. Now, the question is, did he mean spanking new studio or new spanking studio?
I don't know. Is he looking at your Amazon cart?
Or is he still playing on the this is my OnlyFans studio joke? And some people miss Couch Mike. That's right. There was
Couch Mike.
There was a couch mic contingency
There was a
for a while.
pantless mic in there at one point in time too.
I got so comfortable. I
Yeah,
did a show.
too
Well, I
comfortable.
actually did multiple shows without pants. I only got busted once, however.
All right, so you ready?
Yes.
It looks like, and bear in mind though, I don't have 10 years of data like Mike does. So a lot of these new to me's weren't necessarily new to me. I had played them before, first time logging. So with that caveat, new to me, 139.
Okay.
So
I mean, even if you give or take 20 to 30 of those, your 100 new games is usually what I like to shoot for. This year I hit 2024, I hit 144 new to me.
Nice.
Last year was like 130 something. So yeah, doing the channel obviously helps with that. I try to make sure staying above 120 it means I'm constantly learning new stuff.
Yeah.
Actually the funny thing is the whole reason I'm just going to go into it. The whole reason Couch Mike existed in the first place was because of Sushi. I had a brand new dog. She was a rescue. She is an attention whore.
Yeah.
And as you have seen, when I was doing the show in my basement, I would have to leave and let her out and then leave to let her back in. With the couch, I could just keep her right there by my side. So she was getting the attention that she wanted. Sometimes she's barking at me or trying to get me to throw a toy. The couch alleviated a bit of that. So
blaming the dog.
Okay, there you go. 2024 new to us, Bob. I'm not gonna do the top 10 thing because it's just going to be confusing.
It will be very confusing.
Yeah.
So we'll just start with number 15.
We're starting with our number 15 new to us game of 2024. Start us off, Bob.
All right. So my number 15, Da.
Yes.
Da. Yes, but Da by the Op, taught to us by our local friendly / not friendly curmudgeon, Chris. It's a great game of you're just basically inventing your own language with these different sounds and pictures, and you're grouping them up, and you're only using sha being sha. And once you've established your language, you're given one card. You say what you think that would be categorized in. They shuffle some other pictures in there, and then everybody has to figure out what you're talking about. And just the shouting and the ridiculousness. I bought this for one of my nieces for Christmas. We played it over there, and they loved it. It's just a great game.
It is. It just barely missed my 15.
2024.
Really a ton of fun to play. I was just shocked at how fun this was, having not even heard of the game. None of us had. Chris just breaks it out on the table. It's like, you guys have to play this.
Yeah.
And he was right. Now we all have a copy. Mine is right back there.
I see it. Yep.
What's funny is, after Meeple, I'm going to be going over to one of my bowling teammates' house. She likes to host games every few months at her house. I bought them Da for Christmas, so I guarantee we're going to be playing it, and it's going to be a riot.
Nice.
Great pick. Yeah, this game's a lot of fun. This is definitely something that's probably going to get played at PoppyCon.
Oh, yeah. It'll be there.
Okay, my number 15 just barely makes the list. Not only because it's my number 15, but also because I played it for the very first time New Year's Eve. So December 31st, it was the last game I played of the year. I can't wait to show you guys this game. It is Mlem Space Agency.
You keep going on.
Now, you remember I asked West in that chat if you like this or Celestia better. Do you remember playing Celestia with West? It was very early in 2024.
Celestia, the one with the airships, like the blimps.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're moving up tracks, and you can just decide to hop off and collect the rewards, or you keep going, but there's a chance of busting, and then the airship goes all the way back to the beginning.
Yep.
Very, very similar. They get compared all the time.
Okay.
This one I just picked up because right around Black Friday, Amazon had this for $20. I had heard great things. It's a Reiner Knizia push your luck game, and it's essentially the same thing, but it's got this massive neoprene mat. This thing's like 3.5 feet long. And you're starting down here at the very basic, your lift off, and then you're rolling dice. Well, if you don't roll any of the dice that are shown at the spot you're on, so if you don't roll a 1, a 3, or a comet, you bust and the ship goes back to the starting spot. And so as you go further and further up here, you can drop people onto planets and you'll score if you have majority in that planet at the end of the game. You can drop people into these moons. Only one person can be in each moon, and those will give you points. And of course, the further and further you get up this thing, the more points these end up getting worth, to where you've got these 7 and 10 point spots all the way up at the top.
Damn.
And so it's just like, how long do you want to hang on to that ship? There's a chance you bust and you get nothing. The other really cool thing I like about this is that you're essentially putting like these astronauts out, and you get to choose which one you're going to board the ship with. They all have their own special abilities. So that one of them, like this one's cool. This one has a parachute. If you're next to a planet or a moon and the commander, the person rolling the dice, if they bust, you can drop your parachute and go ahead and deploy your guy on that moon or planet anyway. Double scoring at certain areas. This one is like having an extra die each time, having a guaranteed 1 while you're rolling. And then this other one, this like satellite here, actually it gives you a head start. You start at the space station here instead of all the way back at the front. So just really cool abilities, really fun push your luck. I played this game twice back to back New Year's Eve with only 2 players. And me and Dustin just had a blast playing this game. I cannot wait to play this with like 4 or 5. I think it supports 6.
No, I said 5.
5, yeah. A full complement of players will see you going further and further, going up the track. There's more people in play. I did like Celestia, but man, I this one was more recently in my brain, and this was the one that made the cut for me. But Blim, fantastic, really fun push your luck game. As soon as I get a chance, Bob knows I'm already pushing to play this one. So. There you go. That's my number 15.
All right. Plus, cats. That always helps.
All right. Do you know what Mlem is?
No clue.
So I will show you. I have to Google this so I don't screw it up.
Uh-oh.
I had to look this up. Mlem is a term used to describe the sound a dog or cat makes when it sticks out its tongue to lick something.
I've never gotten a kiss from my dog and heard Mlem.
I don't.
But okay.
So that's why it's called Mlem Space Agency.
I've had a cat get ready to puke and going, I don't know how you spell that, but I wouldn't spell it MLEM. But yeah.
You're giving me game design ideas here, Bob.
Okay. All right. Are we ready for our number 14?
Number 14.
My number 14, I believe, was taught to me by West. Kabanga. Kabanga is such a great little card game. Came out in 2023. When I bought myself a copy of this, I ended up buying 3 copies. I had to get myself a copy, Tim a copy, and I bought a copy for my parents. I figured it'd be a fun one for them to play when they're out RVing. And they really enjoyed it and thought it was interesting. And because they like card games and whatnot. And it's just card shedding. You're putting your cards out there in one of those appropriate colored piles. Anybody that has a card in between those 2 numbers can yell Kabanga and then throw out those cards, and then they get to get rid of them out of turn. You then have to draw extra cards for every card that you get Kabanged by, and you just play until you empty your hand, and then you're going to get. You can kind of score it either way. You're supposed to get negative points for the pips in your hand. Then the highest score wins. So a perfect score would be 0. Or you can just do add points on for every pip, and then lowest score wins. However you want to score, you can score it either way.
Yeah.
You don't want.
I think we've always done it to where we just play 4 rounds and whoever has the lowest score wins. I feel like is how we've always done it. But
yeah,
I feel like if you played I think you're supposed to play to 12. I think it runs a little long if you do that, but 4 rounds seems like about the perfect length for it.
Yeah, you're supposed to play till somebody has 18. And then
that's way too long.
Yeah, it can be. I've had 18 in 3 turns, right? I mean, if you get Kabanged, so yeah, we usually go to either everybody feels once or 3 or 4, like 4 rounds is a pretty good length of time. So yeah.
Wow. 18 in 3 turns, somebody got gang Kabanged.
They did. Yeah.
No, this is a great game, and same. West taught me this one. Man, too many West references tonight.
I know, man. It's crazy.
What's up, Mike? Looking forward to being on your show soon, buddy. Have fun at Tantrum Con.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, we're talking about Kabanga taught to us by West. Great game. Once again, just barely missed my top 100 and barely missed my top 15. Honorable mention for me at 19. And we can have some fun. We'll do some honorable mentions after this too. But yeah, great pick. It is a great party game. I'm for sure bringing it Saturday. My bowling teammates are casual gamers. They'll find this fun.
You can play 6.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 or 6,
and it supports a good number too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my number 14, I talked about last week when we started our top 100. This is a 2017 release. Taught to me by Bob. It's Istanbul, the dice game.
Nice.
Yeah, I love this little game, man. And I saw that influenced the Rossies into playing it, and I was hoping to hear from them that they enjoyed it. I just love how quickly the engine ramps up in this game. You're just rolling 4 dice. 4 to 5 dice.
This game's great. How do you play? Yeah. No, it's 4. It's 4.
If you get one of each resource like this, you could just instantly grab this ruby because that's one of each resource. But odds are you're not going to roll 4 of the same type of resource. So you could turn in 2 of the same resource to get permanent chips, or at least ones that carry from round to round, unlike what you roll, which is temporary. You could just roll gold and buy rubies that way as they gradually get more expensive, starting off at 10, then 12, 14, 16, 18, etc. And these little extra bonuses, man, if you turn in like 3 of the same resource, you get these things that add to your turn every round. So you could be getting 3 coins every round. You can get an extra die to roll every round. You can get these diamonds that allow you to have an extra re-roll every round. Or my favorite is the one that gives you an extra action every round. You only get 2 actions each round with 1 re-roll, and then you lock all the dice and you choose 2 actions. Having a 3rd action and then comboing that with having the extra die, I just love the crazy OP engines that you build in this.
Yep.
It's a ton of fun. It's one I just got to buy and put in my collection. It's really easy to play and it's very satisfying. Yep. Very glad that you guys enjoyed it as well. I'm really loving this game.
Nice. Good pick. Glad you liked it. Another one talked to me by Karen. So yeah.
Yep.
At QsCon.
Nice. Nice.
All right. My home rule, more gems to win. Yeah, it's not a bad home rule because the game could be over before you're ready for it to be over. So
yeah, not bad at all. The engines can ramp you up pretty fast, especially if you're playing a 2-player. I don't blame you at all.
Yep. All right. My number 13.
See you, Steph.
Yeah, enjoy that coffee.
Mhm.
This a great game. We play it on the show quite a bit. You can play it with any number of people, but Flip 7 is a
Yeah,
great push your luck game where you're just
it
flipping
is.
cards over like almost blackjack style, trying not to bust 12 12s, 11 11s, 10 10s, so on down the list. If you get two of the same cards, you bust, you don't score any points, but you can stop at any time, bank the points you got. First one to get to 200 wins. Says it's the best card game of all time. That might be pushing it, but it's up there, man. It's a ton of fun, simple,
Pretty
cheap
good.
little card game that you'll definitely get your money's worth out of.
I was actually surprised you have this so low because this was really high in your top 50. Spoilers.
Yep.
Thought this would go higher. Wow.
I mean, it's number
I have this ranked
13.
higher than you do, and it's not in my top 50.
Hey, I have my top 5. I took a bunch of other games I really liked off my smattering of games from that I new to me games, plugged them into a pub maple, and just went boop, 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 and this
Yeah,
is how it landed. I don't
there you
finagle
go.
my list the way some people do.
Well, there was very little finagling on this because you're not ranking nearly as many games. Um, but yeah, there was very little finagling here. Um, but I'm still I'm still pretty surprised.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, maybe it's because we played it so much, I don't feel the urge to play it as much.
Yeah,
Um,
there's
that could be,
that.
it happened to playing it with me for playing Unknown. We played the bejesus out of that game, and now
Oh
I'm just kind
yeah.
of like, it's not a bad game, but it's like I'd rather play
Yeah,
other games.
I
So
hear you. That is just one game I cannot get enough of.
I
And
know.
that man, my second edition should be shipping soon. I can't wait to try that Super Moon
Yeah,
expansion.
see what that's about. That'll be good.
Great pick. I'll talk about it here shortly. That was one I just knew if all three of us were on, we were all gonna have that game in our new to you. I think it made Tim's
Top
well,
50.
yeah, he's got it. He's got it really high, but
He does.
it's a great game.
Yeah. And I got
All
it
right.
just for buying Gnome Hollow at Gen Con. That's the amazing part.
Yeah, you got the
That's
free
crazy.
one with that smaller box.
Yeah, that was great advertising. That was great branding by the
Yeah.
It was just super smart.
That's one I've already just taken out of the box, put in 2 bags, and it's going in one of those plastic photo containers that I use for portable games.
I was gonna say
I need
I've got a deck box, like so my sleeves for Magic come in a box. It's perfect fit for those. I should just give you one. I've got freaking tons of them.
well, I use those things anyway because I have a whole container for all of those. Like
Yeah.
there's 18 of those
Oh, don't
things,
put it in a
I think.
plastic bag. That's so
No, it goes in. It's just so that the cars stay together, and then I put it in the photo container. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. It's still in a plastic bag.
Don't make me put it in a nicer bag so you quit complaining.
It's not a bag, it'll be a box, and you can put stickers on the box, and you can do all types of fun stuff.
I can put stickers on the little photo box, and I have a carrier for all of them.
All
I
right,
need
fine.
to update it though. I have so many.
Oh,
new,
like a DeWalt,
yeah.
all right, I got
Yeah.
you. Fine, whatever.
Yeah, you've seen that though. I haven't carried the whole thing in a while though. I need to update it. All right, so man,
Go ahead.
this is crazy.
I am bag shaming Knicks.
He's
I am.
bag shaming, yes.
Yeah.
Love it. This is my number
13?
13.
Yes.
13. This is why I'm very glad I'm not using the 10-9 countdown thing.
This is why I wrote them down 15 through 6, but then I also numbered them 10 through 1 in case you did it that way. So that way I wouldn't lose track.
Yeah, not even going to use it. This is a new to me Tim favorite that is 10 years old. And shamefully, he is not here to hear me talk about Cthulhu Wars.
Wow, that's not what I expected.
I finally got to play this game. I know what you expected. Those are coming up.
Okay.
So we played this at IndieCon, which is a small invite only. I wouldn't call it a convention. It's just a gaming meetup
Yeah.
at a church. The guys from Man vs. Meeple were there, which was really cool. We got a chance to meet them. They're fellow Hoosiers.
Yep.
Or Boilermakers that live in Indiana. But great game though. Like, I'm a big fan of territory control games. I'm a big fan of hybrid territory control games like Blood Rage, like Ankh, those games where I'm moving troops around. And yeah, I want to win battle, but that's not necessarily how I'm scoring points.
Not victory condition. Yep.
Yes, I've got different win conditions depending on my faction, even different ways of scoring points, very asymmetric, very strategic. And I just really enjoy this one. If I play this more, I can see this rising up my list. It was one that I didn't move it too high because I don't have a copy, and I may never get a copy. I'm not sure.
I'll tell you this, Mike. I've had a copy on my shelf since it came out. You know how many times it's been played?
Right. You and Tim have a copy.
Yeah, and
of
Tim's
a
copy
10-year-old
is
game
painted, so it's awesome looking. So it's hard to not want to play it. I mean, why not play the cooler looking copy?
Yeah. And I'm not so much as a collector as I want to buy games that are different than what my groups has so that we can play them.
Yeah.
That's how I've always collected. But it's awesome. Again, if I could play it more, I could see it going higher for sure. I really enjoyed Cthulhu Wars. Yeah, unfortunately, this was one where I was Chocho.
Yep.
And I got off to a nice lead early. I was humming. I was playing their faction just like very well. I remember you gave me some advice early. I don't remember what it was, but you offered it and I followed it like to a T. And then, this game, I love that it gives you like a little strategy guide on your player aid. Like, if you do this, this, and this, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do exactly those things. And I'm just humming. And then Tim talked everybody into coming after me.
You kind of have to, though, because Chocho is one of the ones where if left alone, you win out of nowhere. So
yeah, I had a pretty fat lead. Everybody came after me. I still did respectable. That was a 5-player game. I think it came in third, so it wasn't too bad.
Biggest beef with that is the one you get the beat down on the leader thing, which can be a little bit of feels bad. And if you're playing with a bunch of new people and you're trying to add in a bunch of the bells and whistles, it can really drag the game out, right? Because everybody has to read all the stuff and like all these extra little independent old ones where you have to there's 5 or 6 different little things that now I have to read through to see if I want to do. It can really drag the game out. But if you've got 4 to 5 people who know what's going on and you only add in a couple of those independents, it's a lot of fun. It can be a good time.
Yeah, I was one of, I believe, 2 new players. And plus, I think the good thing was that, Tim taught it. He's played this so much, he knows what to add that's not going to bog the game down. And that helps for something like this. Because I've had those experiences where somebody wants to add all the things to new players, and you can ruin people's experiences doing that. So.
6-hour Nemesis, yeah.
50-minute vindication. There was the teach was longer. Like you spend 20 minutes teaching things that never got used. Don't do that to people.
Don't do it.
So yeah, my number 13, Cthulhu Wars.
Nice. All right. My number 12.
Ooh. Man, that is a really good idea. Because there's such similar games, really, like just hybrid area control games.
You know who does do some of that is like Turksy and some of the Mind Clash stuff have some kind of crossover bits too.
Right.
And they when he had his kid, he released a what do you call it? The Junior Turksy promo pack, and then it's basically like all of his games, like cards or buildings and things that you can put in all of his different games. So it was pretty neat.
Mhm.
Anyhoozle. So my number 12 is a 2021 release. And I wouldn't necessarily call it a social deduction game, but you're definitely being dubious. And in dubious, you are given two different classes, then two different things that kind of happen to you or experiences, and you're going to pick one you are, pick one you're not, and then everybody is asked a series of questions, and you want to try to answer it in character and give your responses, and you want people to be able to guess who you are, but you can't be too obvious, because if everybody guesses who you are, you don't get any points. Otherwise, you get points for each person who guesses you correctly. And so you're kind of taking notes as you're listening to other people, and you're trying to figure out who's what. There are three different settings. I believe there's a fantasy setting, which is the one that we've played 100% of the time so far. There's a Victorian setting, which I haven't played. And there's one other one, maybe futuristic, I think. But yeah, then come to find out at Gen Con, they had a green box, because that one's kind of bluish there. And it's got more settings that you can pick from. So I'm hoping that Arcane Wonders, it was only released over in Europe right now. I'm hoping they bring it over to the States, because I really enjoyed this game. Plays 6 people, and we just had a blast. Just it's almost like a D&D character creation, where you're coming up with stories about things and whatnot, and trying to answer questions in a clever manner. So yeah, it's a good one.
This was a lot of fun. I found it fun just kind of creating a story for my character, and I'm not trying not to be too obvious, because you don't want everyone to guess what you are. And so nuances to your story.
Yes.
Those kind of games are fun. Yeah, definitely. I can't find anything in English on these photos here. So,
yeah,
yeah,
they were
this
European
was
releases, and they released that version in the States in 2021, and then they had another one, and they're not sure if they're going to bring it over to the States or not. So
yeah, this was fun for sure. It was really fun, kind of being creative and coming up with those stories. And of course, we got to play that with the Parakeet Griffin folks, and you know how creative they are. They came up with campaign trail fantasy. Jesus. Fairy Tale Campaign Trail. I could not spit that out for a second. And
we
we know
actually
how.
played. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, we just know how creative they are. So that was
Yeah,
a blast playing it with them.
for sure. We played this at the last PoppyCon with a bunch of fans and friends. So I'll probably have this one with me this year as well.
I remember we considered playing this at Origins. I don't think we got this out though. No, I'm thinking of Adventure Party. Similar vibe.
Correct.
Similar vibe. Little deduction, little bit of creativity. Not dubious. Adventure Party. All right.
Adventure Party, one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah, that one was fun for sure. Bit further down for me, but it's on the short list.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 12. My number 12 is a 2024 release. I've seen this sitting behind Bob on several streams here recently, and I really want to play Pando Royale again. Man, this one was a lot of fun. I just love chucking dice. So when you can get up to 10 people, yeah, chucking dice, and then each different color of die just gives you a different way of scoring. So the very first round, you're just tossing one die, I believe. It's just one in the first round. You're adding one every round.
A while, I don't remember, but
it's been a minute. It was QSCon where I learned this one.
It does.
But every die you're drafting, and so you're adding to your dice pool, and so your engine's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and you're trying to build these synergies in your dice, and some work off of other dice better, but you're just chucking dice and then scoring them, and it's such a simple game, but I love chucking dice. I love combos, and building up a dice chucking scoring engine is a lot of fun.
One of the things I appreciate about this game, I think I learned it from West last year at Gen Con, or 2 years ago at Gen Con, is a lot of those dice that are different colors, they painted in the numbers, so it does kind of help with my colorblind issue with it. So there is still some slight issues, but it's really not bad considering how many different colors of dice there are. So
Yeah, I'm
Like some of them have
pretty
like
sure
shiny, shimmery to it.
this was a 2024 Gen Con release.
No, really?
Well, it was a 2024 release, and they were
Okay.
selling it at Gen Con, so maybe they didn't
West
release
probably
it.
just had an advanced copy somehow.
Yeah, that could have been. That could have been. I believe it was Last Light Games. Is that what it was? Last Night
Last
Games.
night.
One letter off.
Yeah, so close.
But really fun. Love Chuck and Dice and combos. I can't wait to play this one again.
Yeah. I'll probably bring it to PopCon. So
Sweet. I'm in. Bring it Saturday.
yeah. All right. Number 11. This is close. This is the oldest game on my list with a 2004 release. But it's another game where you're being dubious. You're lying to your friends a little bit, or am I? It could be a cockroach, or is it a stink bug? But Cockroach Poker is a great game of basically bullshit, right? So growing up, we always played bullshit where you had a handful of cards, you're card shedding, you're trying to put cards down, you're telling people it's one thing, maybe it is, maybe it's not. People are, they can call you on your bullshit, or they can pass it to somebody else. And if you get 4 of the same card in front of you, you're out. If you have to play a card and you can't, you're out. There's only one loser. Everybody else wins. But this is a great, great card game. And it's just a cheap little guy, but I ended up sleeving it because it gets played so much that it just it warranted it. So
I love this. I know the Kraken Lacquer. That's what I was looking for.
I kind of want that version now.
We've talked about this game so much. I know it's language independent. I totally want the German version now.
Yeah, I kind of do.
I've pulled this game up so much because of how many times it's gotten talked about that I just laugh every time about the German translation for this. Yeah, it is a lot of fun for sure. Another one Wes taught us.
Yep.
And that one got the shut up and sit down bump a couple of years ago, and it went out of print for a little while. It was out of print last year. They had to reprint this. Yeah, I've heard good things about Spicy too.
Okay.
I like the look of Spicy. Oh, it has really cool like dragon art on the box. I need to play that one though. Okay, my number 11. Whoops, I hit the wrong thing. No, I didn't. We've got our first crossover. It's Flip 7. Flip 7 is just a blast. It's just a lot of fun. You can teach anybody. You can play any number of people. And it's just fun. I mean, you're celebrating when you get those 7 cards and you get the 15 bonus points. And you flip that. You flip that ×2 and double your entire score. It's exciting. Games don't need a ton of rules to be fun. I love that we all embrace that. We like our crunchy games too, but sometimes it's great to just play these simple games that are just a blast to play. Flip 7 is a blast.
Now, you said any number, Mike. I would like to point out it does cap at 99. So
that would be awful, by the way.
That would be I'd probably be out. But you know what? You guys go.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. How is it actually possible? How many cards are in that deck?
You'd have to shuffle a few decks together, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do the math. I mean, 12, 12, 11, 11. What's that extrapolate out to?
Yeah, I'm not
2 cards around. You're like, okay, I'm out of cards.
Yeah, a lot. I got no dukes. I
got no dukes.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'd probably cap this at like 10 or 12.
Sure. But if I had 13, all right, fine.
Yeah. I think we played it at 9 at QsCon, and it was fine.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was upwards of 10.
I thought it still whipped around pretty quick. Every once in a while, you got to wait for people to figure out who they want to freeze. But otherwise, 10 was or 9 was still pretty fun. I liked it. But yeah, Flip 7's a great game. Pick it up if you haven't. It's already starting to get like harder to find.
Yeah, it's easy.
They're selling a lot of them.
Yeah, it'll be a quick reprint. It's almost nothing to it.
Yep.
All right. Number 10. Speaking of QsCon, we ended just about every night with this 2004 release of Tumbling Dice. We had so much fun. We met so many new people, because they were watching us get rowdy. I was teaming up with the Canadian assassin himself, Reed, and we're just flicking dice, knocking people's dice off there, trying to score. Yes, Donnie got in on the action. Man, that was just a ton of fun. And that's the version to buy right there. If you could find that version where it's like the wooden bits with the pegs and whatnot, that's the version to get. I've seen some remakes that are they look plastic and cheap, and I'm not going to vouch for those versions, but that wooden version right there is...
It's called Tumbling Dice Medium is the version we got to play, this one here, and it is the best. There is a newer version from Eagle Griffin, and I know they have amazing components and everything. It's unfortunately inferior to this version, but you got to shell out over $100 to pick this up.
Yeah. But man, we had a great time playing that though. Having a couple drinks, just laughing and flicking, and didn't even matter.
Yep. It's so simple too. Basically just quick synopsis here. You just take turns flicking your dice. If it's in here, it's going to lose you a point. If it's in here, it's a point for each pip. Double each pip, 3 times each pip. If you get lucky to get them into here, it's 4 times each pip.
Yeah.
Yes, there's Tim. Game must be over.
Tumbling dice.
Yeah. You better hurry home, Tim. We're already on number 11 here. So
10. But yeah.
Oh yeah, number 10. Something like that. Yes, number 10. Tumbling dice. Yeah, it was. I mean, we we finished every night at QsCon playing this dumb game. We had never heard of it before. This just missed my 15. I had it at 16 actually, Bob. So it barely missed. I squeezed Lem in front of it just because I'm obsessed with that
just
game.
Just like we squeezed it in last year.
Yeah. But man, Tumbling Dice is so fun. I shudder to think how much. Yeah, I shudder to think how much I would actually play this if I had a copy. Just to show you why. We're gonna pull this up. They did what happened there? Wow, this is loading slow. Why is my internet so slow?
Click on are you clicking on it, or what are you doing?
There we go. Maybe not. Yeah, so this version just
Yeah.
I mean, so a couple differences here. Your launch pad is smaller. I don't believe this is actual wood like the original version.
The one we saw at that store was definitely plastic.
Yeah, it's plastic. And then the other thing is just how these don't taper off. This is just flat. I thought it made more sense to have just to show you that comparison. You saw how the board was flat at the end. These flare out just slightly. And I feel like that can actually make a difference how this is curved and these go off of that curve at the end there. Minor things, but full square at the end with spots to place dice, bigger launching pad. So the only thing is, again, it's hard to find this unless you're willing to pay those scalper prices. Man, this game's a blast, though. I want to play this again so bad. We just need to group buy a copy or something. It's so fun.
It is.
Tumbling Dice, man. I just get giddy thinking about playing that game again.
Maybe we can get Mark to buy one so we can do a review for it.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, buy this 2004 game so we can do a review of it.
I know. Well, if you remember, when we got back, Tim reached out to his Eagle Griffin contact about getting a review copy, and we still don't have a copy, so you know how that went.
And it'd be that newer version that's probably not as nice. So.
Yeah, but we'd have a copy of Tumbling Dice, damn it. Sure. Don't make me print and play one.
I mean, I know someone with a 3D printer. If you don't mind plastic components, we could probably get one done.
I'd have to sand out the top, though. You can't have a textured top. All right. My number 10. This is the one Bob thought I was going to bring up earlier. This is my oldest game on the list. So earlier last year, we went and visited our friends, the Smiths, from the Board Game Mechanics. And if you know Jason Smith, he definitely likes his older games, his brown and crusty games, as he likes to call them. I finally got to play Vital Lacerda's Vinos. Man, for this being as heavy as it is, well, compared to modern games, it's not as heavy. First of all, it's not nearly as heavy as his recent releases. So I'll
It's no
start
weather
there.
machine.
But with 4 of us, we got through this game in under 90 minutes. And I love that. Like, I don't always, just because I'm playing a game that has a lot of mechanics and a lot to learn, it doesn't always mean I want a game that's 3 hours long. I can appreciate a game that gives you a ton to think about, and you're done in 90 minutes. You could easily, with 2 knowledgeable players, play a 2-player game of this in under 60 minutes. I mean, it says it right there. And so I just really liked Vinhos. You're basically making wine, you're selling it at festivals at the end of the round. You're getting your ingredients from the country here. And then you're trying to sell your wine off for the most profit.
What country is that, Mike?
Vinos, super late to the party, but man, 2010 release. And yeah, we played the original. I'm just gonna tell you, I think the original still looks good. Like there's
It's not bad. I mean, now the new Eagle Griffin version is very bougie. But
I
the old one's
know.
not bad.
Yeah,
You know what country that
yeah.
is, Mike? Did you notice what country that was, by the way?
Yeah, it is a Portugal. It is a Portuguese game. Honestly, the board art looks better in the older version.
The
I
board
think
art does, but the components are not as nice. Yeah.
this board is so much more muted. Very, very muted colors on that board. All right. I mean, I kind of like the guest art there. But yeah, if I go back to the board on the original version, I would venture to say I actually like this more. Yeah, I definitely like that more.
Yeah.
I know Jason likes it more because it's got brown and tan on it.
There's a lot more tan on
But
there. Yeah.
yeah. But I think that the color pops a little bit more here, and it's not as muted of a drawing. Yeah, very
Yeah.
pastel, kind of muted on that newer version. I think I would actually say that I do prefer the board art on this. But regardless, this game is fantastic. It
Yeah.
is Vinos from Vital Lacerda. Yes, if you like Portugal, like this video. So Bob, I'll wait while you go and like this video.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry, I don't think Agueda made this list. Yeah, I know.
That's okay. Some of my favorite things came from Portugal. Like my mom. Number 9. Number 9 is a 2024 release. This game was basically one of my favorite convention experiences from Gen Con this year. Tim and I sat down with this French guy who taught us loot, and he was very salty I was beating him. But this game, you are taking your Vikings and you are placing them out on this board, and you're collecting all these, like the resource you put it down on. If you're next to a hut, you get to gain that. If you connect 2 towers, you're gaining those. If you chain 4 next to a castle, you get to take that. You're taking all these bits, you're putting them on your own private board where you're getting longboats, and you're trying to fulfill contracts, because each longboat and each little city on your building is looking for certain types of resources. Like that one needs 2 axes and a sheep around it, and it's telling you it's going to increase the value of your little huts. Once you've completed that contract, you will flip that over, denoting that you've completed it. At the end of the game, you're going to get points for all the resources on the board, plus whatever bonuses you have for those. Any long ships that you don't complete, you'll get negative points. and you're just going to tally it all up, and that's it. I love my brain is very happy when I get to try to maximize, like, okay, this city needs these resources, so I'm going to put this contract next to it because it's going to use 2 of those same resources, and the third resource is going to go over here, which is nice because it goes next to this city, and that city needs that resource. And so just trying to cross use all of your resources for multiple purposes, it's very satisfying. And yeah, if you haven't played Loot yet, you should check it out because it's a great one.
Plays quick, it's easy to learn, really puzzly. And like you said, when you can get 2 buildings to flip from the placement of 1 tile, it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
Yes. Or when you place 1 Viking down and you get a castle and you get a tower and you get a resource and you're placing 3 things on your player board all at once.
Yeah.
This is a good one. I really like this game. As you can tell from my rating, which I gave it when we reviewed it, a 9 out of 10. Big fan of this one. You know what's yeah, there you go. Trevor already beat me in a game of this in BTA.
Nice.
I'm a great teacher. He didn't learn from me. So what's kind of funny about doing this list? On the new to you 2024, Bob, I had this ranked higher than you. So I will not be talking about it tonight. But in our top 50, you had it ranked higher than I did. So just
the
funny.
lists are arbitrary, and the points mean nothing.
They are. And it really comes down to when you do the list.
When you do the list and what mindset you're in. Yeah.
It's like personal hotness on the exact moment that you rank the game.
Yeah.
And that is why when I start ranking my top 100 in early December, and then we do the list in late December, my mind changes in 2 to 3 weeks. So stuff moves.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So it's funny how these just butt right up against each other. Oh wow, Loot is about pirates. I didn't know that. Yes, Carson, that is true. Neither Spencer or Dan are no longer on Board Game Rundown. Nothing personal to either one of those guys. Spencer is concentrating on his art, on his books because he is an author.
Which we haven't back. I think is his second Kickstarter still going?
Yeah, he already has 1 published book. He's got a Kickstarter out for his second one.
And he will be at PoppyCon also. He'll have a booth there. So you can get a copy of his first book and he'll probably sign it for you too.
Yeah, you can see Spencer at PoppyCon. That is very true. Good point. So yes, absolutely, Trevor. Yeah, and he's hitting up like all the conventions. Like he's going to a ton of conventions that are more writer focused and some that are just nerd and writer. Yeah, and
playing games with him, but I'm happy when he's doing what he likes to do.
Yep, absolutely. He's a very smart, talented person. So it's kind of good that he is chasing his major passion.
Yeah.
Chris, I think we mentioned it to you. PoppyCon is the one that's going on in South Bend.
POPI.
Yeah, POPICON. Downtown South Bend. That's in a week and a half. Friday, January 31st, Saturday, February 1st. Hit up Bob. We'll get you a place to stay.
You can crash the house.
Seriously.
Yeah.
We're going to have POPICON. It's on the tabletop events website where you get your badge from Gen Con and everything. It's on that site.
Can you put the website up real quick?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. We will have a booth. That's official.
Yep.
So we're going to be there both days. I got you right there. And this is
that February 2024. That's the last.
Oh, yeah, dang it. It's
That's how you spell it, though. Go to tabletop events, and
it's kind of sad when I Google it, it pulls up
the old one
last year.
There's a new guy running it, and I don't think he's quite as efficient as the guy that was doing it last year. He's not like pushing it quite as much. It's a little unfortunate.
Agreed.
But
not promoting it as much as the last guy. That is true.
Yep. But there it is. That's the actual one.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Carson. Yeah, yeah. We hope the best for them. But yeah, definitely very happy that Spencer's able to spend more time on his books, because even before he left the channel, he was like, I don't know how I'm going to balance doing Gen Con and Origins and going to these writer conventions. And from what I can tell, he's doing a bunch already. So good for him. That'll give him a lot more opportunities to sell his book.
Yep.
But yes, yeah, these are the official dates. And again, here, I'll just go ahead and copy this, drop it right down there. You will see here, if you go to exhibitors, they got a good amount of booths here.
Are we under Board Game Rundown or are we under Game Talk Network?
We are under Game Talk Network. So first of all, again, Spencer right there. He's going to have a booth selling his book. And we're under Game Talk Network. If you didn't know, we're a series of YouTube channels. There's the Miniatures Rundown and the Magic the Gathering Rundown are the
they don't do a whole lot with Magic these days, but they do a ton of Warhammer. If you guys like Warhammer at all, go over there and check them out, because the cool thing about this, the store that we all shoot out of, is they're very big into the Warhammer, and they always have like the newest, hottest information on what's coming out, what all the armies are, all the insights and all that kind of stuff. Like, they're very into it, and they're very up to date on all their information. So,
yep, they of course simulcast our stuff here. But yeah, Miniatures Rundown does a really good job on Warhammer coverage if you're into that kind of stuff. So
yep,
we are a part of multiple channels at Game Talk Network. The cool thing is, again, both channels filmed in Fantasy Games in South Bend. So we film in the local inventory room of the Family Local Gaming Store. Without Mark, the owner of Fantasy Games in South Bend, Indiana, this channel probably would never exist. So
kudos to him. It would just be Whiskey Wednesdays.
Yeah. Just be live shows. Yeah, you're right. The semi-good quality shows.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyway,
that's so funny. Mike probably just quit himself out of the whole video. He probably went to minimize and then X'd himself. He'll be adding himself back here, I am sure. There he is. He's in the background. Oh, he's
That's
back.
What happens when you hit the back button on the wrong window and you're using two monitors.
Good job, Mike.
Hold on. Let me get that other screen up. Boop. Not the first or last time I will do that.
I was like, I got rid of him. Oh.
He's here for Jim is here for Tim's hipster picks. The thing is, new to you, you're rarely going to get some hipster picks.
I mean, Tumbling Dice is sort of a hipster pick because it's an older game. So
Venos is a 2010 release, so there you go. Anyway, that's what we were plugging. That's where we're going to be the end of the month with the booth for 2 days. So, but my number 10 was Venos, one of the
but no, my number 9 was Loot, and now we're on to your number 9.
Yeah, there we go.
The sidetrack happened.
Wow, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I didn't even get into this one. All right. So, as I mentioned, friends of the show, the Smiths, Katie and Jason from the Board Game Mechanics. We had a great gaming weekend with them where I learned Venos. And I also learned Rococo. Man.
That's what I thought we were going to do.
Yeah, this one's really good. I've got the original version. This got Bob to pick up the new Eagle Griffin Deluxe version. I think they both look good, although the box on this one kind of, like the art's not bad, but there's nothing about this game you're gonna go, oh, that really draws me in. And
you can't see
even though the newer version does look a lot better, I'd have the same thing. Like drawn into the game because of the box, even though, again, it is beautiful and the components are way better than this. You're essentially building dresses for a dance, and you're trying to get the nobles to wear the dresses at the dance. It's a hand management game. You're doing these actions where you're picking up these resources, and you're buying new cards that you can add to your deck. It's pseudo deck building. You don't really like have a discard pile and shuffle it. You have all your cards available. You just pick the ones that you want to play. It's pseudo deck building with hand management. So that's a misnomer for people that
really want to get this to the table again and play.
It's not going to play like Ascension here. So,
right.
But it's a fantastic game, though. I just want to play this more. One thing I remember specifically about this one is how many different ways you could win this game. Like, I was able to pull some cards that scored me like 40 points off of one card, but I didn't win because there's a lot of different strategies to play in this one. We really got to get this one out again. I like this game a lot.
Yep. I shelled out quite a bit of money to get that bougie copy, but I definitely want to get it to the table.
Yeah, if you got that Eagle Griffin version, you most certainly did.
Yup.
But
I have so many of those. Like they fit real nice on the shelf. They're beautiful. The boxes are high quality. Everything they do, with those versions are high quality. I've got like all those, Lacerda games that are in those same types of boxes, like the Vinhos and whatnot, and then the Rococo. While it's not Lacerda, it's great.
Yeah, Rococo is really, really solid. It deserved its reprint. Kind of forgot that this new version was Ian O'Toole.
Yeah, the art. Yep.
Jim popped in, saw only you, and thought he might need a VPN. Thought he might need a VPN to watch the content.
That's right.
And of course, this week on Bob's OnlyFans, Bob shows off sexy Bob art.
I've got some sexy Bob art I can show you.
Oh, we're canceled.
Yeah,
Tim leaves us alone for a week. And
we had for one episode. What happens?
I didn't have
Kelly here to tell me to not get canceled. So
nothing. Just got the show canceled. And Evan, welcome, sir. He's your only fan.
Yeah, hey Evan. I don't know if you know, but the designer from Iridia lives in Portland.
I bet he did know.
You should find him and say hello. Tell him how cool his game is.
He probably has play tested it if he lives in Portland.
That might be true. All right. Are we ready for number 8?
Number 8.
My number 8, we did a review for, and I liked it the most. Yeah, it could probably benefit from one less mechanism in the game, but I didn't mind wrapping my unconscious mind around this game. It was just a ton of fun. There's a lot going on. You got to pay attention, and you have to not forget to do certain things. But, as long as you can be kind of meticulous with what you're doing and not forget to do certain, all of your actions and stuff, it's a lot of fun. The blending of the artworks between those two artists is fantastic. The components were really good. I could do without the neoprene mats. I feel like the ink is kind of faded on there. It's almost like the Castles of Burgundy neoprene mats, right? Where it's like you kind of have a hard time with the shades of colors on there. And I already have a hard time with shades of color anyway. So just using the regular maps is plenty fine. Now, the neoprene mats do give you the nice layout for the cards and where to put your tiles and this and that, but I don't know. It's more difficult to tell like what's going on the actual little college where you're moving your piece around the city and whatnot. But still, like the ink blots are super cool. I don't want to say it's resource control, but there's a little bit of like area control management where you're like trying to get your little pieces down to the bottom there to get extra points and whatnot. You're moving around the board and taking these extra actions. And when you're done with your actions, depending on where you put your one piece on the map, you got to move your ink blot a certain amount of spots. You have to activate your engine then. So you have like an engine building aspect to it. And the cards with like the overlays, and then you bring your people to Catharsis. You get rid of the overlays, you get a bunch of bonuses, and then you can try to cure them. You've got those discs. I haven't even tried any of the expansion stuff. There's just so much going on in this game. I think it was just done really well.
Welcome, Gary. We're global, Bob. We got Korea in the house, we got China in the house, and now we got UK in the house.
Sweet.
I clicked on the wrong comment, but that's okay. He got both comments tagged.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, this one I'll speak for Tim for a second here. Like, it's a really good game. It's got great mechanics. It's fiddly. And so, like, I did not like it as much as I wanted to like it because there's a lot to remember on your turn. I just kept forgetting to do stuff, and I was trying to set up stuff, and I didn't have the things I needed to set them up by the time I got to my turn, and I got frustrated. And like, it's a great game, but I struggled, and I got frustrated with it, and so I rated it lower because of that.
Yep. Side note, boom. There you go, Evan. So it's a game by Cody Miller, CODY, developed with Ira Frey, IRA. But it's Far Off Games is the company that did it. But
Iridia. Okay.
Yep, Iridia.
Nice. Awesome. And Pablo lives in Tijuana half the time. Very cool.
Sweet.
Mi español es muy mal.
Yo hablo español un poquito. Yo estudio para 7 años en la escuela, pero no hablo mucho. Y cuando no hablas, es más o menos.
Yeah. I understood all of that. Now,
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
You start talking about stuff other than how long you took classes in school, and you lost me.
Yeah.
¿Dónde está el baño? There we go.
Necesito cervezas, por favor.
Sí. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh boy. Oh man. Very cool. Hey, there we go. We told somebody about learned Evan a thing or two about Portland designers.
There you go.
Your Spanish is better.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
My mom and that side of the family is all Portuguese, and they didn't offer Portuguese in school, so I took Spanish because it's very close. A lot of it's just drop off the vowel on the end.
It's so similar. Yeah.
Very similar. Yeah. So that's why I took so much Spanish.
Back when I was watching, like, I could never miss a UFC. Back when I could never miss a UFC event, and it was like half Brazilians. I was like, oh, I know some of those words.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, man. Gracie's.
Yep, it's still half Brazilian. So.
Yep. Any hoozle, Mike, what's your number 8?
All right, my number 8. I know Bob loves this game. Bob taught me this game. Bob owns this game and ranks it very high. It is Path of Civilization.
Not what I thought. You're full of surprises, Mike.
Well, Path of Civilization is really kind of a Euro civilization game. It's a Tableau. No, it's not a Tableau builder. My favorite part, honestly, is this action selection that you're doing.
Action selection and resource management.
Yeah, so
action selection. Maybe a little bit.
On your turn, hand management, you've got 5 cards. You get to choose 4, and you're gonna slot them into these 4 spots here. The 5th one goes away. You lose that card for the rest of the game. So right out of the jump, you are kind of catering your strategy towards the tech trees that you're going to be going after. The cards on the right side. The cards on the right side with those little circles, they're going to move you up these tech trees. The higher you get on these resources, the better cards you can buy for your action selection. So you're just gradually buying better and better cards. The cards on the left are going to allow you to put influence cubes that affect other things for like late game. Um, Great components. Just a really nice card tray insert here, where the actual resources you need to buy these cards is printed right on these. They stack together in the box really nicely with lids.
Those aren't the resources you need to buy it. Those are the bonuses you get for collecting them.
That's right. That's what I meant.
Yep.
Been a minute.
Yep. No, on your resource board, hold on, right there. So you see your cylinders, how you've got like the 1, 2, 3, 4 things up the side. Those are the tiers for buying a tier 1, a tier 2, a tier 3, or tier 4 card. And then when you buy those cards, you're going to gain all the resources listed on those stickers on the inside. There you go. The 1, 4, 7, I think, I don't know, 12 or whatever the top tier is. But then that's what you pay to gain those cards. And then you gain those bonus resources. And they're going to be more cubes, more technologies, or more soldiers, things like that. And the awesome thing about those trays is they all stack on top of each other, and then there's a clear plastic lid, and a whole thing just goes right in the box. And so when you go to set it up, you pull that clear lid off, and you go boom, 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 and they all just line right up. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Captain Games did a really good job with these card trays here.
Yep.
And then, like you said, just dropping these cubes into these things that allows you to get like leaders. They give you additional in-round bonuses, and then there's in-game cards. Yeah, really enjoy this one. I just like how quickly it plays. You can easily play this fairly in-depth game here within 90 minutes. You just
60 to
breeze
90
right
minutes
through
is
the
all
rounds.
it takes. One of the nice things about it too is it has the simultaneous play, and then it has the turn flow at the bottom of each of your player boards, so you know what you're doing when, and you just follow through. You get to the end, boom, go back to the beginning, pick your cards back up, do it all over again, and you're gonna do that 9 times, and then the game is over. And yeah, it's really good.
Yep. So. Path of Civ.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Mike, full surprises tonight. All right, so to number 7. This one should not be a surprise to very many people. It is a 2024 release. Sitting, you can't see it. It's over here on this shelf to my right. But Andromeda's Edge is a fantastic, pretty heavy game. You're all these asymmetrical factions. You're putting your ships out on these boards. You're building buildings out there. You're collecting resources. You're building more ships, and you're building up these modules for your recall action. And then as you start to recall, you do it one by one, because as you're recalling them, you're activating these modules, and you can still activate things out on the board depending on what you're activating in your modules. And just all that timing that goes off is just super enjoyable. I really want to get some more plays of this in. The components are just amazing. It does suffer from it included sleeves as a part of the Kickstarter pledge, but sleeving these, there's no way all that crap is going to fit in the box. So I bought the sleeves, didn't sleeve anything. Well, I take it back. I sleeved the tactics cards because those you actually hold in your hand. Didn't sleeve all the modules, didn't sleeve some of the other things because you don't hold on to them. They sit on the board. So I feel like, in my opinion, they didn't really need to be sleeved anyway. But yeah, those red and white cards you see right there, those are tactics cards. They're in your hand, so I did sleeve those. And those little moons that you see have the resources, they could have done a little bit more with the differentiating them so they're easier to kind of sort and use. And then I did also hate the components compartment in there, the components in the rule book, because it's all instead of just having everything listed out nice and neat, it's splattered, trying to make it look cool or edgy, and it just made it really difficult for me to find what was what and learn it, because I had to learn this game entirely out of the book, and I had a really hard time doing it. But once I did, it's a great game. So
I love this one
too. I don't use them.
This game's awesome. I have this one a lot higher. I loved Dwellings of Eldervale, and I thought this one improved it in almost every way. Yeah, this game's awesome. I just like the conflict. There's a lot of worker placement games out there that have very little player interaction.
Yeah.
Or you took my spot, or you took that card I wanted. This you can go where someone else is. You're still going to get the benefit of the tile, but then you're going to fight for the spot afterwards.
Yes.
And whoever survives the battle stays there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can bring in backup from adjacent spots, and that's you win those battles. That's huge because now you're going to get to build one of your buildings out on the tile. That's one of the major ways that you score points. But if you lose, you're not like totally handicapped. You get like additional bonuses from it. Yeah, I love this game. It's really good. It was very close to being my game of the year. It was runner up for me.
It takes the tracks, it does for tracks what Gaia Project did for Terra Mystica, where it makes the tracks actually mean something,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the different bonuses you get out of the tracks for sure. Good stuff. Yeah, that was one of my favorite improvements as well. Great pick. Okay. Man, almost feels shameful to compare this game to the game that you just mentioned. Wow. But also taught to me by Bob, who was taught by Karen, and it's Fleet the Dice game. I freaking love this game.
Nice.
Oh no, why is it not giving me a play here? Is it because, wait a minute, did I log the wrong game?
Did you?
Second edition. Yeah, there we go. There's my place.
Oh yeah, because
like,
I do have
my
the
plays?
upgraded. Yeah.
Karen
gave us my birthday.
Yeah, there you go. Fleet the Dice game is just so good. I like rolling rights. I like combos. I like rolling dice. I like multiple paths to victory, and this is a rolling right that has a ton of combos.
Yeah.
I like the income phase where you're just like catching fish. So every boat you have, you just draw a little fishy on it. Man, it's just so good. I really enjoy Fleet the Dice game. This is one I have got to pick
play
up.
It more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. It's
Yeah.
really simple too.
Yeah, I
it's
really
just
like it.
right.
I've only played it a couple of times. I need to play it more.
Yeah, I loved it. I love picking up these gold and all the money, all the points you can get for that. Getting these different
sheets.
Getting all of these different boats, and all of them have different powers. 5 columns by 3, 15 different special abilities that you can activate, and you're not going to get all of them. So you're kind of customizing the abilities that you get each game. It's just really satisfying. Oh, nice. But Andrew, you like to fish as well, as do I.
Fishing helps.
So this, that theme's got to be doing some of the lifting.
Doing some work for you.
But man, wow. Fleet the Dice game. I was amazed at how much I enjoyed this.
I said, okay, there's an English version. I was like, why is it that nobody from like America loads pictures of their games and boxes and stuff? Everything's always in a different language.
Yeah, this one is it is
nice.
so good.
Yeah. Definitely need to play that some more. The dice draft was fun.
I was late to the party when everybody else was coming out with these rolling rights. I was like, meh. And then I came to them like a few years later. How does this play?
So whoever's turn it is rolls all these dice. They get first dibs on a die, and then everybody drafts a die as it goes around. Then the last die is everybody gets it. On your sheet, you're going to be marking, whatever die you took. If you took a lobster, you can mark your lobster boat. If you marked got a swordfish, you're going to mark your swordfish. And then as you keep marking those boats, you'll hit certain ranks. Once you hit those ranks, you get to unlock extra boats and abilities and things like that. You also have like a market side of the scoring page where you can get there you go, like extra points are just for selling some fish. The wharf, you get like just bonus end game points. And then every few rounds, there's an actual fishing phase. And depending on how many boats you have, they will catch a certain amount of fish, depending on where you're at. And then you get coins. And at the bottom right there, and marking off the coins is going to earn you extra bonuses and whatnot. And you play a certain amount of rounds, and when it's done, you tally it up and see who wins. But it's dice, drafting, roll, and write would be the basic two mechanisms.
Dice drafting, yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's only one person rolling all the dice, but at one at a time, you're going to select one of them and resolve the action based on that. Yep. But it just builds up so well. Like, I mean, you can first as you're going down here, really well. You're just getting these extra bonuses. As soon as you cross off a license, now you get to cross off one of these abilities. Yep. So now a shrimp die is any face. So a shrimp is a wild for you now. And then you get down to a shrimp boat here. Now you get to cross off a shrimp boat. And basically every boat you have during the fishing phase catches a fish. Mm-hmm. So every single boat you have is a fish, and every fish is 1 point at the end of the game. And so as you're going down these columns, drafting these dice here, you're getting more licenses, more boat. It's really fun.
Yep.
Love it. I played the original version, which was Fleet, the card game, and I traded that thing away after like 2-3 plays. I felt like it had one very clear way to play, and you had to try and get this one card. There's only 2 of them, and if the second one never comes out, whoever gets the first version of that card just wins. And so that got me frustrated. I got rid of it. And even though I had heard multiple people say the dice game was really good, I just I was like, eventually someone's just going to show me this game. That's how I get exposed to it. Now I'm just mad that I didn't check it out. But the original card game, in my opinion, don't even waste your time. So
he would like this game. him and Bubba.
Lieutenant Dan.
You got magic legs.
Yeah, exactly, Andrew. You gotta have combos and a rolling right, and this one just loads the combos on you. I love it. I love it.
Yep.
Cross off this, which crosses off that, which crosses off this, etc., etc. Love it.
Yep. All right, we ready for our last one? Our top 10 outside the top 5.
Our top 10 outside the top 5.
Which means it makes this number 6, a 2017 release that has already been talked about tonight. Istanbul, the dice game, is fantastic. I teach this game to a bunch of people, and whenever I get the opportunity, it's just fun to roll the dice and try to either collect the little square pieces. Hi, baby, come on. And then or you could trade them in to try to get the square bits to hold them over from turn to turn, trading all that stuff in to then, collect those rubies, and then whoever has the right amount of rubies at the end wins the game. Oh my goodness. Yes. Istanbul. Really I played normal Istanbul. I was very on it. This is a much better version.
Yep. This is the Istanbul I'd rather play.
Yep.
I might have mentioned this to you before, but worth re-mentioning. This is a Rudiger Dorn game, Mr. Karuba.
Oh, nice.
Karuba designer. Yep. He did regular Istanbul as well, of course.
Okay. Yeah, Karuba's great too.
Yeah.
But I played that long time ago.
Yeah, this is a great game. Good pick. All right. My last one of the night, a 2024 release that we got to play way before it came out. And that's because it's Forges of Ravenshire.
Yay.
Yeah, Forges is great. This has become like my cozy resource management game. Like it gives you plenty to think about each turn. But like now I've played it enough times to where like I just get that sort of cozy. It's enough to think about. It's not super crunchy. Doesn't overstay its welcome. It feels good. There's no bad turns.
Yeah, there's no feels bad.
it's just a comfort cozy game, and every action just feels satisfying.
Yep.
Essentially, the town needs a new blacksmith, so you are going to be crafting weapons and armor for the local adventurers to compete for making the most money and becoming the town blacksmith. You're going to do that with some
Yeah.
really interesting dice drafting, dice worker placement. So you're going to place a die, resolve it, then take a different one that you didn't place, resolve it, and then you're going to pull it back to your player board, and then it does another thing. So you build up these really neat guild engines where you're adding these guild tokens onto your board. You can unlock the bottom 2 slots and get even more. So if you pull a yellow die from the board, you resolve its action on the board, but then you're going to place it into one of these green slots. Every
Yellow.
guild token underneath it now gets resolved. So you get these really cool chain reactions on your turn that are very satisfying.
Very satisfying.
A lot of different ways to play this game. Love that ones are just as valuable as sixes. There's no very clear pip value that's more important than other. They are
Yep.
all valuable. You got your gathering phase, which is this dice placement, getting all your stuff, and then the income phase or production phase. Everybody
Production.
resolves simultaneously, where you're generating your resources and making steel and crafting armor and weapons, and then that's where you're fulfilling your contracts. Whoever does that the best after 4 rounds wins.
Yep.
Really, really great game.
Yeah, I mean, we love Sam, right, from BA Games. He's a really great dude. But even if we didn't know Sam, like I would still love this game. Like,
Fun game.
I it says something about a game where I can not only, be involved kind of early, showing lots of people, working the booth and demoing it for them, and then just like a month or two ago, I had it at a meetup. I reached for this game to play because I still wanted to play this game. Like it's so good. It's done so well. You're never really blocked from any of the resource places because the fact that not only do you place the die and do resource and take resources, you pick up a different die. So if you really need wood and there's 2 die already there, so what? Place a die somewhere else, then pick up one of those 2 die and get the wood you need to get. And then you're placing that die. So placing a die, the number value matters. Picking up a die, the number value matters. Placing a die in a guild, the color matters, not the number. And then when you go to move them over to the production phase, the number matters again. And you can do all those options at the top where you're either running guilds again, grabbing actions or resources, or you're activating your kiln to turn wood into charcoal. You're using the charcoal and the ore to turn it into steel. And then depending on the number you use, the low numbers give you bonus charcoal. The high numbers can give you bonus steel. And then you're using all those resources to complete your contracts. You can do mithril finish, ember gem finish to get more money or more reputation. And you're just earning the most gold to see who does the best job to become the master smith of the town. It's done so well. The artwork is very cutesy. There's a lot of like hidden Easter eggs on the board, and the insert was done really well. It's really good. They did such a great job with that game.
They really did. It's a ton of fun.
And then they even have asymmetrical apprentices that you can get too. So once if even like new people, I've sprung the asymmetrical abilities on new people, and it still wasn't too much for people to learn. But there's I think 4 or 5 different asymmetrical people that you can pick from. So
yeah, for any experienced gamer, you just throw those in right away. It's not a hard to learn game at all. And those asymmetric player powers don't really add any overhead.
And they do some really cool stuff, like the cleric. They get to do a bunch of stuff with the talismans. You can get the badger apprentice, which gives you an extra die in production. The raven that lets you pick up, gives you an extra die during the gathering phase. There's just a lot of really cool asymmetrical abilities. So
it is a great game. I still look forward to playing it again.
It shot into my top. Spoiler alert. It's way up there for me. We'll say that. So,
way up there.
Way up there.
It's in my top 50, but it's not as high as Bob.
Yeah.
All right, Bob, did you rank more than 15? You got a few honorable mentions you want to throw out there?
I didn't rank them, but I do have them on the. Yes, Chris, it should be retail. They had it at our local game store for a while. They sold out, but you can get it. If you're having a really hard time finding it, let me know. I can maybe reach out to Sam, and he can probably tell me maybe where to get a copy. But you should be able to find it out there somewhere. Honorable mention.
Just FYI.
Oh
yeah, it's definitely available.
Yep, there you go. One
available.
Act now. Put this on pause and go get it.
It was officially a Gen Con retail release. Yep. That was when they first had copies available in the wild. So
yeah, they tried at Origins, but the boat, the container didn't get released, and they couldn't get them there, which is really sad. So honorable mention.
Go get it.
7-player simultaneous play, The Great Split. We learned that game at the Indie Spiel, and it was a lot of fun. Where it's I split, you choose the game.
Mm-hmm.
You start with some cards. You're going to, and then you have a divider card. So you're going to take a divider card, put it in the middle of those cards somewhere, pass that envelope to the person to your left. They're going to pick either the top or the bottom, set of cards. Pass you back the rest. You're going to pick from the person from your right. You're going to take all those cards you got, and you're going to mark all the things you get on your player board. And then every couple of rounds, there's a scoring phase where some of the things will score, some of them won't. That all changes from game to game, so it's never the same one twice. Well, I guess eventually it'd be the same one twice, but it would take a while. And then, the player board looks super busy, and they probably could have left a little bit of the extra graphics off of there just so it wouldn't be such a whoa factor when you look at the player board. But it's really not so bad once you kind of understand what's going on. And it's just got some really neat things where it's you have the multipliers at the bottom where you'll end up getting to, at the end of the game, multiply certain things you have by the multiplier at the bottom and earn a bunch of extra points from it. And the simultaneous play makes a 7-player game take 45 minutes to an hour. So
yeah, once you realize that when you're just splitting cards and whatever's left over, each card is going to move you one spot up each track, you realize this player board's very, very basic.
Yeah.
This one, I did really like this one after I thought about it more. Mm-hmm. It sort of felt like each play feels a little samey. The decision space doesn't change a whole lot from game to game. I still enjoy it. I like that it plays 7 and it's quick. And it is still satisfying moving up those tracks and getting those modifiers. But this one slipped a little bit for me because it felt a little samey.
I can see what you're saying, but I think the trick to that is to play with different people. I played it with some of my Magic buddies, and they were busting out strategies I hadn't seen. So my one friend that was sitting next to me, all the cards he was passing to me, he was, okay, I have a 7th card. Now I have to discard down to 6 cards. I only have 6. He was getting rid of his stronger cards, so he would only pass me garbage. And he was getting good cards from his right, but only passing shit to the left. And I was like, man, where are all the good cards at? He's like, yeah, I was trashing them. I wasn't going to pass you good cards. And I was like, man. And that strategy really kind of paid off for him. And so I think the key is to play with people, different people. And so you'll see some different strats happen. So another one, honorable mention real quick. This is one of probably my second favorite game, maybe third from Gen Con, but Chronologic Paris 1920. It's like Turing Machine plus Clue. And I had a lot of fun with this. I want to play it some more. You're trying to solve a mystery by asking certain questions. You're lining these cards up and putting these little other cards with holes in them, and it's giving you tidbits of information. You give a piece of public information, and then you have a bit of private information, and then you're just trying to deduce the who, what, where, and when. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, this one did grow on me the more that I played it, and I kind of got a little bit. The deduction wasn't quite obvious to me the first time we played this, and then by the second or third time, I'm like, oh, okay, I know how I can deduce things during other people's turns now. That's where you kind of unlock the extra layer to this game that it has.
I thought it was really clever because Turing Machine, I mean, if you don't like solo puzzle games or whatever, you're not gonna like Turing Machine.
It's just so dry.
It's very
so
dry.
It's an amazingly clever game, but that theme does not draw
Right.
anybody.
The design on it though, like it's just kind of mind-boggling. The fact like that how it all works. That it just works. And this is the same kind of thing, but it adds it's not as abstract. It's like, is the square plus triangle to circle greater than no, this is like who was where and when. Oh, okay, this person was in that location. And it's a lot easier to wrap your head around.
Yeah. Was this person in the same room with this person at 6 o'clock? Yeah.
Yep. And they're going to have a few more versions of this too. So
the deduction puzzle in this is far more interesting than Turing Machine. Absolutely. This was a really good retheme.
I think worth noting also, the same designer, Fabian, that did Path of Civilization.
Right. So, yep. The French designers are cranking out some pretty good games. You should be checking them out.
Yeah. They released one. I guess. Ooh, this is another one too. I forgot to write it down. Duck and Cover. Simple. Simple little game that they showed us that they released at Essen. Should be coming to the States soon, but they were demoing it at Gen Con. Where you're flipping over cards and you're taking that card and you're kind of like either moving it over underneath a card or you're like putting it over the top. It's just a real kind of simple game. You're trying to basically reduce your footprint down to the lowest number possible. And they sold out at Essen, so good for them. But yeah, Captain's Game has been making a bunch of fun little games that people should check out.
Nice. Good honorables.
What do you got?
All right, I got a few. I'll stick to the ones that we didn't already talk about because I had Tumbling Dice, I had Kabanga, and so some of the ones that we haven't talked about yet. I really enjoy polyomino games, and I just thought this one did polyominoes in a way I hadn't seen before, and it's Dabbawala.
Yep.
Yeah. So this one plays really quick, first of all. And so basically you're doing this sort of pick up and deliver game, if I can find the main board. You're going to move your guy so many slots around the board. Wherever he lands, you're going to draft that card. You'll take the matching polyomino and you'll put it on your stack here. But the thing is that you're going to start with no tiles. You're going to gradually stack these tiles on top of each other up to 10 layers high. After everybody has drafted a certain number of cards, that phase ends. You flip the game board over, and now each card that you've drafted has a dual purpose to it. So these are dual purpose cards. They have a polyomino, and they've also going to show you how many points each color is going to score during the scoring phase. So this is basically saying that all greens and all yellows are going to move up one on the scoring track. So up on this track here, everybody picks the card that they're going to play. They're simultaneously going to reveal it. Then all of the scoring cards get resolved at the same time. You determine how many points you're going to get for every green tile. Then all of your green tiles score 3 points. And so you're going to add these all up. And it's just interesting because you're looking and you're thinking, okay, well, on level 3, Bob has 6 different sections of green. He's got to play a green card. So if I can also stack greens on level 3, I may be able to benefit from Bob playing a 2-point green scoring tile when we get to level 3. And so you're actually paying attention to what other people are drafting and on what level and trying to match the cards that they're playing. I just found that almost like that reveal / bid / almost market scoring manipulation aspect of this game really fascinating. I really appreciated how that makes you consider what other people are doing. It adds a really interesting player interaction that most polyomino games do not have. So Dabbawala, very, very unique from Queen Games.
Nice. Yeah, that was technically on my short list too.
Yeah, I like that one quite a bit. Yeah, very unique storage too.
Yeah.
I love my racing games, and so Dodo's riding dinos. Dodo Dash is going to make my list. This is racing with um, dexterity. You're going to secretly choose one card. Everybody reveals them at the same time. Um, they're either going to move you up the track or also have an ability. So why wouldn't you always play your best card? Well, there are red aggressive cards that have the strongest ability. The problem is if too many people play a red aggressive cards, the abilities get canceled out. So again, you're trying to think about when other players are going to play their red aggressive cards and avoid playing them at the same time as other players so you can get those really cool effects. And this one is a dexterity game because the effects on these cards are things like meteor. Grab the meteor, stick your hand straight out from the table, drop it, and whoever it lands on gets damaged. Damage is you got to discard cards out of your hand, and if you completely run out of cards, you got to move back 3 spots. There's a log that you roll from the meteor. Yes, it's meteor than that Subway sub I had for lunch. I lied. I didn't have Subway. Later, Nicks. There's a log that you roll that you can damage players with. There's a banana that you have to chuck overhand. And so it's just a really fun racing game with dexterity elements mixed in, tons of player interaction, lots of laughing and crazy chaotic things happening. I've got the base game, Dodo's Riding Dinos. As soon as we can get to this table, we get it to the table. We've got to play it. I really think you and Tim will like it as much as we all enjoy Thunder Road.
Sure.
So Dodo's Riding Dino, Dono Dash, a standalone expansion, is what I actually played last year. But I have Dodo's Riding Dinos, the base game, and I haven't played that yet. So
Trevor, I don't know if you missed it earlier. Mike did ask. I had over 100 new to me games this year. So to make this, shortened list of like 20 games I've got on this piece of paper says something.
yeah, I played 144 new to me games. I ended up ranking 41. But I mean, if you're getting our top 15 here, you're getting the top 10% of what we played last year. So that's stacking up against a lot of different games.
Yeah.
And I'm getting into like number 21 here. Actually, did I play this with you, Chris, at JuliaCon? This game really surprised me. And I honestly just need to grab a copy of this game. The name of this game alone just did not grab me. And in fact, when Chris and Darcy asked like the third time to play this game, I think I was just kind of like, all right, fine. They've never shown me a game I didn't like. It's Gods Love Dinosaurs. BG Stats. $3.99 in the App Store. It'll be the best $4 you ever spent. I log every game I play. I've been doing it for 10 years. I got like 10 years of info in there. I love it. Gods Love Dinosaurs. Chris, did I play this with you at JuliaCon? I think I did. We played it in the dining room with Chris and Darcy, and I think Julia played with us. This is such a unique game. I love how the timing element works on this. So basically, it's this. You're a god, you're building a universe, but the only thing you care about is dinosaurs. Because the dinosaurs are the only thing at the end of the game that's going to score you points. So you're drafting these tiles over here. These tiles are terrain. You'll pull those tiles, put them into your player area here. And then those tiles are also going to allow you to populate those areas with prey animals. So you got bait. I call it bait, but it's the lowest of the food chain animals. So like birds and reptiles. Well, they're going to get eaten by these tigers and by the hawks, but those tigers and those hawks are going to get eaten by dinosaurs. And the only way you can keep your dinosaurs alive is if they have prey animals to feed on. So you're creating this actual like food chain, and you're doing so based on the tiles that you place, because only certain habitats can spawn these animals. And so you're trying to create these chains. The animals also move in a very particular way, and so you're trying to form these chains to where these animals can eat so many animals per round. I just found this game really unique in the way it handles the tile drafting that you're doing, and how the only thing that matters is keeping your dinosaurs alive and spawning more of them. And the more prey you can gobble up, the better. So the sort of food chain management here, I actually really enjoyed this. I would have played it sooner if the name didn't draw me away. Gods Love Dinosaurs just didn't sound that interesting, even though I like dinosaurs, but I really enjoyed this game.
Cool.
I'll do one last one since Bob played it with me. At QSCon, we'll do some more QSCon love. It's Veiled Fate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this is kind of like, this is not social deduction. This is, you're doing deduction because you can move
any piece.
Any piece.
Almost like War of Whispers.
It feels like War of Whispers. It does. You can move any piece on the board. So you're rarely moving your own. You don't want people to actually figure out who you are, but you are teamed with someone and you just don't know who that person is.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of the actions you're performing is in a way where maybe you want your teammate to be able to figure out who you are.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be so obvious that people that are not on your team can completely sabotage what you're doing. Yeah, Andrew, we got a review copy from IV Studios. It was the first edition. And
yeah, I say, Andrew, I hope you back the regular version of it, because looking at those pieces there, it's a little easier to delineate them. We had
also they fixed it in second edition.
Oh, they did?
Yes. We got first edition, and you can continue that, Bob.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the kind of the best thing about this game when we played it for me was everybody got to know what it was like to be me. Everybody was having a hard time because we had the metal version, and the pieces were so hard to tell apart, like for me and for everybody. And yeah, I'm glad they fixed it for you, because man, it was kind of a nightmare, and it kind of tainted the experience for me, because it was very intriguing to have that. Am I on a team by myself, or you're trying to convince people to do certain things. We're like, oh man, but Wes moved that piece. He's that guy. You don't want him to win. Move this one instead. And I forgot who did it, but then it ended up allowing me to win. And that was one of the best things. Like, I mean, it was so much fun, like trying to game that system back and forth. I think 7 is like the best player count, is what Wes was saying for it. And he was right. Like, that was, I guess I don't know, I haven't played other player counts, but it was such a great experience with the color issue aside. That it was a bunch of fun. And they just they need a better iconography card, because like a lot of times you're having a hard time like figuring out like what's supposed to do what, because the icons, like, they look cool but they don't make any sense. Whereas like Ian O'Toole, like when he writes iconography for a game, like you can like look at it and be like, oh, this obviously means I'm supposed to do this. These icons, you're just like, it's an omega symbol. What's that supposed to mean? So
and there were no player aids to like remind you what that did. And it's one of those games, because you don't want people to know your intentions. You don't want to ask people what stuff does. It's almost like you're going to hand people the rule book. Like, a player aid could have done this game wonders. I don't know if they got thrown into second edition, but it really needs them. Also, Bob, the week that you were sick and you were off.
Yeah.
And Tim and I did great games with terrible components. This was my number 2 because of the first edition metal edition.
Nice.
I felt colorblind playing this game.
Yeah, it had the same problem that Red Rising did, where like some of those cubes, it was just like you can't tell them apart. It's slap some paint on there. Let me see. Let me tell the difference.
Different very similar shades of red. The
Yep.
actual metal orange and yellow blended together.
And then the icon was on the bottom of the piece. You had to like pick it up and look at the bottom of it to see the icon on it.
Yeah, you're lifting up pieces to figure out what the heck they are. And then like these icons, they get blocked by these miniatures. So if you're sitting on a certain side of the table, you want to know what you're voting on, which is a massive part of this game. And you're moving miniatures and you're giving away what you're actually interested in here. There's some things about it that could have been done better, which is unfortunate because IV Studios component quality is bonkers.
Yep,
And
but
there's
then just the
just
graphic
certain
design kind of
things,
fell flat.
the graphic design could be improved because you can't give people information in this game.
Yeah.
But the gameplay loved it.
Was fun.
Loved it.
Yeah. Side note, talking about graphic design and screwing games up, like a game I really enjoyed, it was Venice, right? It was one of David Turksey's lesser known games, but the graphic design of the original board was awful because you had to put the pieces on top of the houses, and then you had to keep moving the pieces to see what those houses did. There was only room for like 1 or 2 boats at each location, but technically everybody could go to the same location. So they finally did the Da Vinci's Workshop expansion and released a new board with it. And it fixed everything. There's a parking spot for every boat. There's spots outside the buildings now for your workers to go so they don't block the pieces anymore. So hopefully with the second version of this, they remedy a lot of those issues that people had. So.
I'm going to throw out one more, and then we're probably going to wrap this up. But I'm telling you, I liked Montoon's Clash of the Coral Isles.
Oh, yeah. Wait, does that count? Did that come out last year?
Did. It was a print and play. So that funded, I backed it. That funded. I've already got the files. I haven't printed them.
Me either. But I backed the to get the little sleeve things. I haven't got those yet. So does it count? It hasn't fulfilled yet.
Your sleeves haven't, but you can print the game now.
Fine. Cheater. Cheating.
But for those that may remember, Devin Metlin was on our show. He did talk about this game. The list we did that week was why we love combat games. And that's because he was the co-designer for Clash of the Coral Isles Montoons. Yeah. This is a really fun print and play game. But this is a roll and write area control game. And so you're going to be rolling these action dice, and then you're going to be kind of selecting them. You're going to be pre-planning what you're doing secretly. And then on your turn, you reveal them and you resolve them. You're going to be doing stuff that you would think you'd do in a territory control game. You're going to be moving around the board, and you're going to be getting these attacks. Now, you've got basic attacks, but the better ones you need multiple dice for. So you're banking these dice. So, this one, you got to have an increasing number. So one round, I'd put my 2, then my 3, then my 4. Once I've got all 3 of those dice here, cross that off. That is now banked. And so on any turn later, I can now activate this special attack. And what's cool is you can bank multiple things. You could fire off several banked attacks in one turn. And so you get these really cool combos that you can do. And a lot of it is stuff that you would expect in territory control games, except this is a roll and write. You're rolling dice, you're planning them, you're resolving them, you're crossing them off your player board. But the other cool thing, again, is that this is a hybrid game. There's a puzzle win condition. So you're either the last person standing and you win like that, or you're crossing off these numbers. And as soon as you can surround 4 of these yellow like rune stones, you can win that way too. And so the different ways that you can play this game, and the fact that you could back this and own it for $5, I had to give this game some love. I really enjoyed Montoon.
And we had a lot of fun playing it on TTS.
Yeah, we did a play on Tabletop Simulator with the 2 co-designers, and really enjoyed it. So it was no
super
fluke.
asymmetrical.
Yeah, all the characters play way differently. They got a expansion campaign coming up where they're adding even more monsters. So they have even more characters coming.
Yeah, they say you're not supposed to
and
call it a skirmish game because, like, I guess that invokes certain feelings in some people. But I mean, it felt a little skirmishy to me, right? Because you have your miniature, you're on a board, moving around the board, you're fighting each other. But then, like Mike said, you have that alt win condition that, you know, if you're kind of getting your butt kicked, you just fill that little grid in and you can still win that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's one character who's like designed to win that way. Like I
Yeah.
think it's this one
Tala.
who's made to be better at that alt win condition. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this. This did a lot of really cool things.
Right.
The fact that you can print this, and I don't have the file handy, but we actually got a board game rundown version map for helping them out and
Yeah.
doing coverage of this. They made a fire and ice map for us. So there's lava and ice on the same map. So really cool. Check out the expansion campaign. Montoons Clash for the Coral Isles was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Clash of the Coral Isles. But deserving of its spot. I mean, I had it at number 22. And you know, the only things in front of it we talked about were Kabanga, Tumbling Dice. So deserved its spot. I really enjoyed it.
Sweet.
There you go. Our favorite games we played for the first time in 2024.
15 through 6.
Yep. You got to watch the regular channel and stay tuned for 5 through 1. That is on our regular channel. That list will be out next week, so you don't have to wait long for it. Mine, interestingly enough, 4 out of the 5 were 2024 releases. And one game that was not.
Yeah, mine was controversial. Technically, one of mine's not quite filled yet.
Right.
It's supposed to be filling. I did play the final version of it. You're just waiting for the production companies to make their way over. I put it on my list. I don't care. It was new to me. I played the finished version of it. So,
going down a little bit.
What's that?
Oh, I was just going down a little bit farther here, just like some quick hits on stuff that didn't make this list that I know I played with you. Like Bloodstones was on here.
Yep, that was my short list. Can't Stop. That was on my short list.
Sorry, when I say the regular channel, I just mean our studio stuff. So when you go to a YouTube channel, ours, for example, you've got a video section and you've got a live section.
Oh, no.
Our video section is everything that's pre-recorded and done in studio. And so our live section is just these Whiskey Wednesdays. We save our top stuff for the video studio section.
Yeah, so a little more polished.
Our 1 through 5 of this list will come out on the video section next week.
Yep. After we had our pre-video discussion, I changed it and took that game out. And then, because technically Forges was new to me in 2023, but since it didn't release till 2024, I was like, okay, fine. So I did some switcheroosies on some of that, but yeah.
Yeah, we try to make it fair, because as a review channel, we get stuff before it comes out. We get a lot of opportunities to preview games and put out videos for the Kickstarter campaigns. So Forges of Ravenshire, perfect example. We played that game like a half a dozen times before the Kickstarter campaign came out. And then that game wasn't available until Gen Con. But since the mass public couldn't get that game until Gen Con, that game didn't fulfill the backers till like May or June of this year. It's not fair to you for us to put it on a new to you 2023 game because other people can't play it yet. So that's why we try to do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, so a little bit of behind the scenes, and I can see that argument, But when you say new to me and you're putting all these older games on there too, it's like, okay, well, this game was new to me this year. And that means that, oh, hey, this game was one of their favorite games they played this year. It might not be out yet, but I should keep my eye out for it because this person really liked it.
But that is why we're going to do a
I have to submit all my future lists for prior approval to make sure that there's no, shenanigans in there.
There's got to be that balance of, what's available to people that are watching this video so it pertains to them. So, that's why there's that balance. But I know it makes it tricky but that's why we're also going to do a most anticipated 2025 releases. A lot of these are going to be games that we previewed last year. We've already played them. So stay tuned for that list as well.
Cool beans.
But that's probably going to be us for tonight.
Yeah, so
this actually ended up going longer than I thought. I wasn't sure we'd hit the 10 p.m. mark.
Yeah. Well, we did spend the 20 minutes, 29 minutes earlier going through other stuff. It's not like we dove right into the list, and then we did have a little bit of a sidetrack on some things. So
yeah.
I don't think we've overstayed the welcome. But
no.
Make sure you all hit that thumbs up on the way out and appease the algorithm, the almighty algorithm.
The algorithm.
We do talk a lot, Chris. Thanks for noticing.
We do. Yeah, that's why we do this.
It is. Hey, should have tuned in last week. I could barely talk at all. I didn't have a voice. So it's like, hey.
I know. We did this without Tim even. So
I know. Imagine. Oh my gosh. We'd still be here. Although if Tim would have been here the whole show, it would have been 5 each. But since we figured we weren't going to have any Tim, we did 10 each. And if Tim did dip in, we'd kind of let him catch up and then finish out. But apparently he doesn't want to be on the show anymore. So it's just Mike and I now from here on out. Thanks for watching, everybody.
He needs those guaranteed winners. He's only going to root for guaranteed winners. Yeah. But yeah, and obviously, again, since Tim wasn't on today's show, if you want to see what his favorite new to me games were from 2024, just pay attention to the video section of the channel where the studio episode will come out. That'll be his 1 through 5, all of our 1 through 5s. And probably sulking. No, he's at a Globetrotters game. So that was my joke. After watching his team get pummeled, he will now only root for teams that are guaranteed to win. So
I'll go ahead and plug for Tim also. If you do have Amazon Prime, his episode is now out and available. So you can go on there and watch him try to hit his button as fast as he can to answer questions incorrectly. So him and some of our other friends from town made it to Pop Culture Jeopardy with Colin Jost, and his episode became live today. So
aired tonight. It's on Prime Video.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Episode 24. Yes, Andrew. Yeah, Andrew. You're lucky we like you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's been fun, guys, for the board. But no, seriously, we are going to be signing out here. Appreciate all of you guys that watch. Like I said, we got a great slew of guests coming up. We got 5 straight weeks of guests. So stay tuned for those. There will be some really fun topics coming up. Maybe some games you haven't heard about. Next week, Sam Barmettler, Button Kingdoms designer. That's hitting Kickstarter like the first couple weeks of February. So if you're interested in a very unique deck builder, highly recommend you come next week and you'll hear more about that.
Yep.
That's going to be it for us. Thanks, everybody. Again, don't forget about PoppyCon the last week of this month. We got a booth, and you can come play games with us.
Yep. Good times.
Awesome. Well, thanks, everybody. It's been a blast. For the Board Game Rundown, I was Mike.
Bob.
We will see you next week.
Bye.
Later.
We'll see you guys.
Good
next
job,
time.
Stonemeyer. A 7.3 repeating. Heating.